Sctv with Ethan Humble, Sophie Reese, Sam Hying, Will Kopp, Caleb Geer, and Aaron Wilkins.
Good evening, and welcome back to Sctv, Simpson College's first student-run, award-winning weekly newscast. I'm Ethan Humble.
And I'm Sophie Reese. Thanks for joining us.
With the news from the renovations set to happen on campus, Simpsonian editor-in-chief Caleb Geer wrote his editorial, titled Clear as Mud, voicing frustration with Simpson administration's lack of transparency.
The entire student media staff then wrote an editorial the following week titled Hear Us Out, and there was a call to action for students last Thursday.
In an effort to voice frustrations about the lack of transparency from Simpson administration, Caleb Geer, Simpsonian editor-in-chief, led a petition signing Thursday in Kent. About 250 students signed the petition reading, quote, "We, the Simpson College community, want clarity, communication, and the ability to voice concern, especially regarding renovations," end quote. Geer then posted the signed petition at the Board of Trustees meeting on Friday morning. After chatting with Terry Handley, board chair president, Geer learned the library renovations delay can largely be attributed to an Indianola fire code policy brought to the college's attention at, quote, the 11th hour. We hope to interview Handley in the coming weeks.
Hopefully, we'll be able to get some answers soon.
Absolutely. One Term 3 class is unlike any others, and it serves as a great lesson in worldwide current events.
That's right. I chatted with the Model United Nations class to learn more about their preparations for their upcoming trip to St. Louis. Simpson College Model United Nations is headed back to St. Louis, Missouri for their annual conference, representing the countries of Iran, Kazakhstan, and South Korea.
Right, so we meet once a week to sort of talk about research, to talk about things that they should, I give them some tips on what to look for and where to find it and those kind of things. But again, it's a student-directed activity, so the students are doing as much or as little research as they choose. I tell them that the more prepared you are, the better the experience is going to be. But even if you don't know a whole lot, you're still going to have a really valuable experience at the conference.
I'm representing the Islamic Republic of Iran in General Assembly 1. And we just basically go and we represent how our country would view these topics, and we're trying to reach an agreement as the United Nations on certain topics. My goal as the Islamic Republic of Iran is to basically, we want the big countries to not create embargoes against countries like Iran who are seen as terrorist countries. So basically being able to still, as our country, get arms and be able to be like, have a military and weaponize, but still keeping those out of the hands of terrorists.
Model UN is a Term 3 course that begins at the start of spring semester and ends after the conference.
Many of the schools that we participate with at the Midwest Model UN, that course is a full 4-credit, 3-4 days a week, lecture, assignments, exams kind of course. And so, those students, they're getting graded on whether they get amendments passed and whether they get resolutions adopted and stuff like that. And we're obviously not at that level. And yet, over the last 11 years, Simpson College has won 32 delegation awards. What I really love about Model UN is that it ties so nicely into the mission of the college in terms of recognizing and appreciating the experience of others, right? Developing understanding, developing tolerance isn't exactly the right term, but developing a feel for somebody else. Because to me, there's no better way to develop a sense of how the other understands the world than when you are representing that other.
Reporting for Sctv, I'm Sophie Reese.
Sounds like a unique experience. Some interesting countries we're representing this year.
With their main season coming up, the men's golf team has been hard at work getting ready. They also have one particular resource at their disposal.
Our Sam Hying chatted with the team to learn more about the golf simulator installed in just the last few years.
Welcome to the Golf Simulator.
Many students have walked by the golf simulator here in Kent Campus Center. Let's take a look on the inside.
Marty Bell, the athletic director here, kind of told me I had free reign with one of the racquetball courts
So my first couple months, I was really spent, okay, I wanted to design this how I wanted to.
This is our driving range. So for our indoor driving range, we have a SkyTrack simulator that is what picks up our shots. So the red dot is where we put our golf balls to actually hit. And once you hit it, it'll display up on the TV that we have mounted on the wall, so we can actually get feedback from our shots and know what they look like. Let me show you an example. So as you can see from that example, we can play courses and actually get the feedback from it. And that we're playing at Riviera Country Club, and we can play at many courses anywhere in the world that are on the software for us.
Up until this fall, we just had driving range and, close to the pin, some different things, working on wedges and that. This fall, we added a course edition software. So now they can play it's like 100,000 courses that are on this simulator. But it's pretty cool because there's about 80 to 100 Iowa golf courses, and many of them that we will be playing in competition. So it definitely gives my guys an opportunity to kind of see those. I feel it's pretty accurate. I mean, you ask some of my players and they would probably disagree at times, but when I've hit on it yardage-wise, I feel it's pretty accurate. I feel, the putting, we don't really use the putting part of it just because that's a little more, I don't want to say inaccurate, but it's harder to get used to. Whether it's 100% accurate or not, it's just great seeing them in there. Them swinging is better than not swinging at all.
Due to the inaccuracy of the machine, they installed their own putting green, which also helps not only their putting, but their chipping as well.
And this is our putting green.
It's an opportunity for them to really bond as a team, whether it's through our strength and conditioning program that they do on their own or when they get in that golf room. Outside of that is when you go from the middle of October, and if you don't pick up a club in the state of Iowa until the end of February, it can be a disadvantage. So I think just continually swinging, I think they'll see those improvements. It won't be like starting from scratch right when we start practice, and I think that's the biggest thing that's going to help our players. And right now, we are one of probably 6 or 7 schools in the conference that have one of these. So now we've kind of caught up with the competition. And I would say when comparing our golf simulators, probably in the top 4 or 5 in the conference.
I asked Coach Johnson if this golf simulator was going to be open to the public in the near future. This is what he had to say.
The most difficult part of that, obviously, is the security. Having someone that can man it in the off hours when we're not using it. I know there's a few other colleges that do open it for public, and there's several colleges that don't. The ones that open it will typically have maybe a set every Wednesday from 4 to 8 o'clock, and maybe Sunday from noon to 5. They'll have some set times. So that is something we might look at in the future. Right now, I'm also in the stages of where I'm possibly looking to kind of rearrange that room into a little different look, and that might enable us to have a little more opportunity to use it for the public as well.
Simpson College has a lot of great features here behind the walls, and we have a lot of high hopes for the golf team this upcoming spring. For Sctv, I'm Sam Hying.
Pretty cool area for the team. It would be neat to see all students be able to use it.
You may have seen some familiar faces from Simpson's sororities tabling in Kent in the last couple weeks.
And it's largely due to their philanthropy events to start the semester. Our Nick Gordon chatted with a few sorority representatives.
Simpson sororities have recently been dealing with philanthropy events. We spoke to their representatives about what kind of events they've been doing.
We sell carnations for the community on campus, and then we give them out.
Pi Phi had a very high turnout on their carnation sales from Simpson students. Tri Delta also had their own event that they did for Valentine's Day.
And then this Valentine's, we did Tri Delta Kisses, which is where if you donated to St. Jude, you got a Hershey's Kiss with a card.
Tri Delta philanthropy event had a good number of students that participated.
For Delta Kisses, there were at least 60. We raised about $75, I think. So if everyone gave $1, then there were like 70, but I know some people gave like a little more than that. So.
These philanthropy events went to good causes such as St. Jude's and Read Lead Achieve.
So our carnation sales all went to our philanthropy Read Lead Achieve, and it's a program to help lifelong love for reading, and it helps children get accommodations and resources for their academic needs.
Tri-Delta Representative Maggie Fitzpatrick and Pi Phi President Haley Cowsam gave us an insight of what kind of Greek life events we could expect going forward.
Pi Tri, which is where people could pay money to Pi Tri-Delta in the face.
In March, we're going to go to the public library and go to Dino Day. We have fun volunteering there. And then also we're going to make a library in Pi Phi Park.
For Sctv, I'm Nick Gordon.
Kappa Kappa Gamma, Simpson's third sorority, has also been doing work for Active Minds. Good work, everyone.
It's a staple when walking around any college campus. Some students are bound to be wearing their headphones.
Our Claire Varen took inspiration from the TikTok trend, and she wanted to see what Simpson students are listening to.
I'm Claire Varen, and this is what Simpson College students are listening to. Let's go find one. What are you listening to?
Harry's House on Shuffle.
Thank you.
Everyone loves a good pop song.
What Goes Around by Justin Timberlake.
Thank you.
But how about some rap?
Scorpio by Moneybag.
Thank you.
All the Lights by Kanye West.
Thank you. What are you listening to right now?
I am listening to Home by Mike Dimes.
Thank you.
Here at Simpson, we also embrace our childhood memories.
Oh, I'm watching Mickey Mouse right now. So it's playing the hot dog song.
Thank you. Hey, what are you listening to?
I like To Move It from Madagascar.
Thank you.
And who doesn't love some country music?
Save a Horse.
Thank you.
Love You Anyway by Luke Combs.
Thank you.
And you know we need some rock in there.
Grave Mistake, Ice Nine Kills.
Thank you.
Suspicious Minds by Elvis.
Thank you.
Besides impeccable music taste, Simpson is also home to academic weapons.
I was just listening to a video on the Sierra Leone Civil War.
Perfect. Thank you.
I'm actually watching a YouTube video on cycle permutations.
Thank you. For Sctv, I'm Claire Varen.
The variety here is amazing. We also certainly do have some academic weapons across campus.
Moving into sports, our men's wrestling team was sitting at 2-5 in the ARC before their final duel against Dubuque.
Our Will Kopp has your highlights from Wednesday's Black Box Duel.
Storm Men's Wrestling hosted the Dubuque Spartans on Wednesday. Let's see how they matched up. SCTV's very own Dylan McChesney starts off strong and slams his opponent against the wall to show him that he means business. McChesney getting up close and personal, he hits him with a reversal and gets on top of him to show his dominance in this match. McChesney is the reversal king today as he gets around his opponent and latches on to make sure that his opponent does not get away. Dancing in the middle of the mats, McChesney takes this Spartan down with a leg sweep. The Spartans got desperate near the end, but McChesney came out on top. He outscored his opponent 6-1 in this meet, and the opposing fans are clearly unhappy. With an exciting but quick match, Abel gets on top of his Spartan and continues to show a dominant form of wrestling at Simpson. He wins by the pin. Next up, Radecki continues to fight for the Storm as he's got his opponent almost pinned to the ground. With the support of everyone in Black Bucks, he tries to get him down, but unfortunately does not make it happen. Shyler Langley absolutely dominated his match against the Spartans. Langley has stayed on top for the majority of this match, but his opponent tries to hit him with a reversal and he avoids it smoothly. He gets back up to finish off this round and he takes him to the ground. That's a massive 2 points for him right there as Langley finishes out his match with a massive win. Sadly, the Storm were unable to pull out a victory on this one. The end score ended up being 28-13.
Some high-energy wrestling there. The men are now preparing themselves for the Lower Midwest Regional with the opportunity to qualify for the national tournament.
Exciting stuff. We thought last week's game against Buena Vista was do or die, but now the men's basketball team met their chance to make the ARC tournament.
Needing both a win and a co-loss to grab the 6th and final seed in the tournament, the Storm played against rival Central in Coles Fieldhouse on Saturday.
Our Caleb Geer has your highlights from the second half.
Senior day in Coles Fieldhouse. Gibbs got the ball. Hans under the basket, takes his two. This time we see Darling looking for a long two, and Hans is there yet again to get it just in there. Then he dishes to Gibb. Gibb takes 2 and 1. Gibb was the team points leader with 15 points on the day. Now, Karan looking for 2 from the baseline, gets it. Out of the perimeter, Wogmoth takes 3. 2 loves that one. And this game is very much locked up, very close game. You are not seeing double. McCray from the perimeter. Another 3 for the Storm. Storm looking very strong the whole game. Hans getting another 2 in the paint as he has all day. Storm up 1 point, 5.5 to go. Darling spots up in the paint, takes his 2, 68-66 Storm lead. McCray unfortunately does not quite get it there, and the Storm are behind 1 point with a minute and a half to go. Karan looking for something, spots up a deep 2, takes it. Very much anybody's ball game still. Central and Simpson tied neck and neck. Crowd loving this one. Looking for something at the outside. Andrew Karan does not get it. Fighting for the ball. And Caden Remar ends up with it out by the perimeter. Not quite 3, but knocks it down. Storm down 1. 10 seconds to go. Darling looking for anything at the perimeter. Does not get it. Effectively ends the ball game. Central 76, Simpson 74. And that is your senior day.
Ah, shoot. So close. Unfortunately, that means the men's season has come to an end.
Thankfully, the women had a chance to avenge the men against the Dutch Saturday as well.
Our Aaron Wilkins has a feature covering the team before their big game.
Last Saturday, the Simpson Storm girls basketball team took on their rival, the Central Dutch, on senior night. I had the opportunity to interview Cassie Nash, Anna Wanek, and Haley Rasmussen before the game.
We kind of try to take it as just another game. Central's always been our rival, and now with Coach Londing over there, it kind of makes it a bigger deal. But we don't want to go in thinking too much about that, putting too much pressure on ourselves. We just want it to be another game where we go out there and play hard. As long as we do the little things right, everything Coach Neal has been telling us to do, and we play hard and come out and play a full 40 minutes, then we should be able to beat them. A team win is always good, and especially when it's over Central on our home court. So just being able to get a win for our last regular season game on the home court in front of our home crowd is always a lot of fun with the team. Obviously, any game is going to be big for us when we're home. Senior night against Central, there's nothing better. They're our rival, yeah, but we just need to go out there and play it like any other home game. Our biggest accomplishment this year is probably just we're a very young group, so the way we responded against kind of our first round games against Co and Dubuque, and then beating them the second time around, just kind of learning from that. We're just still trying to improve every single day as a team and get ready for the next one.
This year I've had to step into a bigger role than last year. Last year I just had the opportunity to learn from players like Cash and Anna, and this year I had to step up defensively, offensively, just all around in the leadership. It's a big deal. We've kind of taken one game at a time, and this is our last game before we start postseason, so it's going to be important to start off on the right foot.
I absolutely love her. She's one of my best friends on the team. We didn't know coming into this year that she was going to be back, so the fact that she was able to come back for a 5th year and give me one more season to just play with her has been awesome. She's been another leader for me to lean on when I'm questioning kind of what's going on. Anna's always there to help me. Oh gosh. I could respond to this question in many different ways. Playing with her has been one of the biggest blessings I could probably ever have imagined or wished for. She's an incredible player in person. Getting the opportunity to play with one of the best point guards in the whole entire nation, there's nothing like it. And so the fact that I get to kind of be her best friend and be there and play alongside her, it's something really special. I'd say stick with it and never give up. We go through a lot of ups and downs during season, but as long as you stay together as a team, we can really get through anything. Some advice I'd give to the underclassmen is just embrace the process, enjoy the moment. There's a lot of people that are out here that they wish they could be in our shoes, so take every day as an opportunity to get better and to just have fun with it.
Next season, I think just building off of this season, we'll have most of the same people back, so I think that we're gonna have a successful season after this season. We had lots of ups and downs this season, so I think we can build off of that next year.
The Storm dominated the Dutch, with Cash, Anna, and Haley scoring 43 of the team's 80 points. For Sctv News, I'm Aaron Wilkins.
With the win, the Storm claimed the 3 seed in the ARC tournament and would play against the Dubuque Spartans last night.
Our Aaron Wilkins has your highlights from the game.
The Simpson Storm took on Dubuque in the first round of the ARC tournament Tuesday night. Everything was clicking for the Storm tonight as they started off the game with a layup from Haley Rasmussen. Cassie Nash had an incredible game as she was unguardable all night. Anna Wanek was wide open in the corner and she made Dubuque pay with this 3-point bucket. Not long after, Haley was left open in her sweet spot and she knocked down a 3-point bucket as well. Not only did Cassie Nash have a great game, but so did Molly Lutmer coming off the bench for the Storm. Here, we have Cassie plowing through the defenders and making it look easy out there. After a great pass from Cassie, Haley knocks down a huge wide-open 3-pointer for the Storm. Who else but Cassie to put an and one layup, and her teammates are loving what they're seeing from her. Here's one of Molly's 7 3-pointers tonight as she could not miss from beyond the arc. The fans are loving the action they're getting tonight, as you can hear they are fired up. Going into the second half, the Storm had a massive 23-point lead on Dubuque. Getting us started in the third quarter is Anna taking her defender all the way to the bucket for an easy layup. Points came extremely easy for the Storm as Macy Gaskill knocks down her first bucket of the game. Here's another one of Molly's 3-point buckets, and our Sam Hying is cheesed up for that one. Yet another 3-pointer from Molly as she is still knocking them down. And another 3-point bucket from Molly. This was incredible to watch. Anna says, "Look, I can do that too," as the Storm knocks down back-to-back 3-pointers. The Storm had a dominating win and will travel to Loris on Thursday to take on the Dewhawks. Reporting for Sctv News, I'm Aaron Wilkins.
Now moving away from the hardwood, the women's gymnastics team had their final home competition of the season Friday.
Competing against Alaska Anchorage, Taryn Bertini has your highlights from Coles.
The Simpson women's gymnastics team hosted Alaska Anchorage Friday for their last competition in front of a home crowd. The Storm were up first on the vault, where Morgan Svett claimed second place with a score of 9.4. Brooklyn Morgan also put up a good score of a 9.225. Moving on to the uneven bars, Annika Cole led the Storm with a score of 8.8. Morgan Speck also had an impressive performance on the bars, earning an 8.75. Next up was beam, where Avery Ingram took first place with her score of 9.6. Bailey Tessina also had a great performance and earned a score of 9.225. Lastly, on the floor routine, Emma Tolbert claimed first with her score of 9.675. Kaylin Talley earned the second highest score for Simpson on the floor with a 9.45. Avery Ingram again claimed the all-around first-place title for the meet with a score of 36.875. The Storm finished by taking second place to a good Alaska team, with the final scores being 181.425 to 185.9.
Great work, ladies. The Storm will head over to Winona, Minnesota next Thursday.
We chatted with the teams last week, so naturally we had to cover the event. I have your competitive cheer and dance highlights from Sunday.
It was such a fun day Sunday at the ARC Competitive Dance and Cheer Championships. The cheer team kicked it off with their 2.5-minute performance. They would end up taking third place in the division, with senior Sophie Reese, our own Sophie Reese, leading the team. It was a lot of fun there. The dance team performed real well in the POM. They would get second out of the 6 schools competing, and they would also take second place in the hip-hop division of the 6 schools competing in that one as well. You can see some intensity there. A lot of fun from the ladies on this fine Sunday. They would also, Kendra Campbell, one of our reporters, does a nice flip and gets carried by her rest of her teammates in a very electric performance there. They would take 4th of the 6 teams in the jazz performance. Claire Varen rounded out the day in her ARC individual performance. You can see her first of her 3 leaps here. The Storm's POM and hip-hop average, which was used to determine the conference champion and ultimately the placements in the conference, put them at 3rd place with an average of 70.58 points. Overall, Central was crowned the dance champion with an average score of 77.5, and Wartburg was the cheer champion with a score of 70.97. This year was unique that Simpson was able to host the championships, since each of the ARC schools only get their turn once in every 9 years. For Sctv, I'm Ethan Humble.
And that concludes my 12-year cheerleading career. I am beyond proud of what my team accomplished this weekend. We have faced many obstacles this season, but we persisted and never gave up. I am so saddened to retire from the sport that I love, but I can't wait to see what the team does next year. The cheer team will always have my support.
And mine as well.
Elsewhere, men's and women's swimming and diving each finished 4th of the 5 teams at the ARC Invitational. Kate Manette set a school record in the 100-yard freestyle.
Men's gymnastics headed to Lincoln on Friday, where they fell to both Nebraska-Lincoln and Oklahoma by sizable margins.
The softball team lost both of its games to Hardin-Simmons in Texas on Friday by scores of 7-6 and 10-5 respectively.
Men's and women's track and field teams took 4th and 5th respectively out of the 8-team field at the Liz Wirtz Invitational.
The men's tennis team lost its first match of the weekend to Cornell 5-4 before defeating Wisconsin-Stevens Points 6-3.
Softball would then rebound on Saturday in their 2-game sweep of Dallas. The ladies won 9-0 before winning 9-2.
Last but certainly not least, Jenna Joseph qualified for the NCWWC National Championships after taking 4th place in her weight class.
The team as a whole took 4th place of the 12 teams there.
That's going to be all from us here tonight.
We humbly thank you for your time. We'll be back next week. Until then, you stay classy, Simpson.